Sometimes my head hurts. I swear to goodness, sometimes I don't understand. Here's a piece that I read earlier today. Julianna Peña is going to get smashed by Amanda Nunes. Julianna Peña does not belong in there with Amanda Nunes. Okay. Now, if you're going to be right about that or you're going to be wrong, we're going to need to get under the unified rules at the agreed upon weight class, at the agreed upon time between those two girls, and it's between them, and then we'll live with the result and have to speak about it. But you don't get to make that claim now and then bang your chest and act like you were right. Because there's no evidence right now for you to come to that conclusion. Let me ask you a question. Julianna Peña, just think about her. Put Amanda out. Because Amanda comes with a lot of visions when you think about Amanda. You talk about the queen. The queen of MMA. The multi-divisional champion who disposed of, finished, Misha, Ronda, Chris. You were talking about the absolute most dominant force in MMA. I get that. I'm talking about the challenger, though, and I'm talking about Julianna Peña, who is the single greatest threat to Amanda's throne there has ever been. I'm not ready to predict for an upset for you yet. I am telling you this has all the makings of every sports upset we have ever seen. This is all the makings of Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson, which is only one thing, quite frankly. All the upsets of the Olympic team when the Americans took out the Russians. And what is that? What am I talking about? The mindset of the opponent who is not buying into the idea of this script, who is not buying into the narrative that this is an already forecasted, predetermined outcome. I'm talking about confidence. I'm talking about believing in yourself, and Julianna truly does. If I was to ask, you're dismissing Julianna against Amanda. You're acting like that's nothing. It's silly, or at least this article that I read. Let me ask you a different question. What would you say if I told you the Bullet is going to fight Julianna, but my question I asked you is, can Julianna give her problems? I asked you nothing else. Would that be a competitive match? Would it be close? Would it make you think for a minute? Would you want to see it? Because you're not positive of the outcome. Yes, of course you would. Many of you would pick Julianna over the Bullet. I bring that to you because the Bullet is as close to beating Amanda as anybody ever has been. The Bullet has won more exchanges, more minutes, and more rounds against Amanda than all of her opponents combined. And if I just got you to agree that Julianna versus the Bullet would make you pause for thought, I've now successfully proven that Julianna versus Amanda makes sense. And that it's a problem. And it is. It's a huge problem for Amanda. One thing when you think you're complimenting Amanda, when you think you're not a chauvinist and you're on board, and that's the greatest fighter in the world, and I even said it about a woman, which shows I'm not chauvinist. It shows I have an open mind. When you do that on accident, you stop Amanda from having the glory of the moment. On accident. Building her up to that level and acting as though she's invincible. You take away from her glorious moment because she's sacrificing too. She's cutting weight too. She doesn't feel good either. She's in the gym twice a day, every day. She's not socializing and doing a lot of the things that she would like to go do with her life because she's buckled down on a goal of hard work so that she can have that hand come up, that belt around the waist, and Bruce Buffer saying her name. Everything every athlete dreams of, she's been able to achieve. But it's because it makes her feel good inside. That's what she's doing it for. Intrinsic reasons. It's presented to the world as a business. It's presented to the world as a lifestyle. It's presented as a profession. No athlete actually believes that except for the true scumbags who are the first ones to be unemployed. And when you try to build her up to that level and act as though she's completely invincible, anything bad that happens to her in there reflects tenfold. If she loses an exchange, it makes SportsCenter. If she was to lose a round, it would make SportsCenter. So when she loses the fight, if she loses the fight, which will happen someday, if history is any indication to the future, it pulls her down to a level that's not fair. So it's important that you guys agree with me. It's important that you recognize Julianna, who is big, who is strong, who is not afraid, and who has great wrestling. Amanda has beaten every type of fighter there is. All of them. Except the dominant wrestler. The dominant wrestlers, particularly early in Amanda's UFC career, got her down and did steal rounds. They did steal moments. Amanda had a hard time scrambling and getting back to her feet. She was lost just a little bit. Just a little bit, but she was. Amanda's always looking to prove something. This is her opportunity to prove that wrestlers are no problem for her. That's what Amanda gets out of this. She gets to check that box. She gets to seal up that level of doubt. But Julianna gets to go out there and show something different too, which is you can't deal with us. You can't deal with forward pressure. You can't deal with not being the bully. You can't deal with somebody as equally as big and equally as strong as you. It's a very interesting match. I don't want you guys to miss it. It is not a foregone conclusion that Amanda wins this fight. It is a much less foregone conclusion that Amanda's going to win every moment of this fight. It is another less foregone conclusion that Amanda's going to win every round of this fight. This is a hard fight. Julianna Peña belongs here.